What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know who I am, I'm Alyssa, IFBB Pro, kinesiologist, and personal trainer. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the foods that are recommended that best work when you are taking a GLP-1. You know, what you might know as a semaglutide, Mounjaro, tirzepatide, retatrutide, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic. All those are considered GLP-1 agonists. So medications that would be prescribed ideally through your licensed physician. If you are taking a GLP-1 already or you are interested in taking one, here are some recommendations for food that would best work with the medication. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with a GLP-1, it's a medication that responds with your appetite as well as your insulin response from the top down, so your brain to your gut, whereas a proper diet and nutrition works from your gut up to your brain. So they both work really well together. So how GLP-1s help you? It's basically what they do. They work to slow the gastric emptying of your stomach contents, as well as increase your insulin response to food. Of course, this comes with naturally blunting your blood sugar spikes. So it's really important that we choose foods that support this and don't work against it. The priority when dieting on with a GLP-1 is that you are feeling satiated with enough minerals and vitamins. Because with the decrease in that appetite that is caused by the GLP-1, we need to make sure that every bite counts and that we are provided with enough nutrients. First things first, we are going to choose foods that are higher in volume. We're looking for foods that fill us up, but also provide a lot of nutrients, unlike sugary snacks. Something to avoid when you are on a GLP-1 is foods that are really fatty, greasy, and are super sugary. These actually tend to trigger a lot of the side effects that come with a GLP-1. So when you hear about people feeling sick, it's usually because they are still indulging in a lot of those fattier foods, deep fried stuff that they got heavy with in the first place. Those types of foods tend to trigger the side effects like nausea, indigestion, things like that. So here we go to it. This is now what comes down to the foods that we should be consuming when we are on a GLP-1. So high quality protein. Protein naturally satiates and it stabilizes our blood sugar. The most important part about that though is as we lose weight, we wanna make sure that we are maintaining our muscle mass. So the protein is gonna allow us to preserve muscle mass while losing weight. Things like chicken, we've got lots of eggs. You can do Greek yogurt. If you're more on the vegetarian side, lentils, chickpeas, tempeh, things like that. When you are snacking through the day or every one of your meals, always make sure there is a protein source. That's gonna help you feel satiated and manage your blood sugar levels. Next up is high fiber foods. So we want foods that are high in fiber, something that's gonna slow down our digestion. It's gonna slow the absorption of sugar, which in combination with a lot of protein is going to be ideal for a diet when someone is using a GLP-1. Gut health is of the utmost importance. So fiber is going to help prevent constipation, which sometimes people have anecdotally stated that is a side effect of the GLP-1. So making sure that we are full of fiber, whether it be from oats or seeds and nuts, and even taking something like an inulin fiber, like a bene fiber regularly is gonna help manage that feeling of indigestion and keep us regular. So making sure you are sticking with the non-starchy vegetables. So not that I'm saying skip out on potatoes and things like that. You can have them in moderation, ideally with the skin on. That's where a lot of the fiber is resting. But sticking with low glycemic foods, low glycemic fruits in particular, skip the juice, stick with berries, strawberries, regular berries, any kind of berry really is gonna be really good. Another form of high fiber vegetables, you could say, or carbs you could say, is your legumes, as well as your beans, edamame, chickpeas, lentils. Those are great options. And then when it comes down to our whole grains, obviously trying to avoid anything that's overly processed, like your breads, is gonna be the best route. So sticking with oats, like I have here, barley, farro, quinoa even, are gonna be much nicer options that are gonna help things moving freely and flowing nicely. Healthy fats. They do provide energy and a sustained amount of energy. They're slower to digest, so they're going to keep us feeling fuller longer. And as well as they help with the absorption of those fat-soluble vitamins, your A, E, D, and K. Keeping, things like a little bit of olive oil in your diet, avocado, it's a fruit, but it's very high in fiber as well as good fats. Your seeds, nuts, keeping those in mind when you are preparing your meals for the day. The number one tip I'm going to say with GLP-1s is remaining hydrated. Because a GLP works from our brain to our gut, sometimes because we are always feeling a little bit fuller on a GLP-1, it's really important that we still hydrate. So making sure that you're getting adequate liquid and fluids into your body is really, really important. So sometimes when we don't have an appetite, we forget to drink water. So it's really important that we are continuing to drink water. You can do herbal teas throughout the day, something that's low or no caffeine. Adding a little bit of lemon or cucumber just to spice it up a little bit. Sometimes tap water can get really boring. At the end, you just need to be always mindful of your appetite, the cues that your body is telling you. So it's really important to be mindful when you're eating, when you're using a GLP-1, making sure that you're eating slowly, and always just stop when you're satisfied. Don't overdo it, because that's when side effects start to kick in. You're gonna feel indigestion, you might get a little heartburn. Think about it like your body, if you keep feeding your body food and the emptying of your stomach into your intestines and your digestive system is gonna be slowed down. So that food's gonna be sitting there for a little bit longer, and so you don't wanna keep cramming more food down into your gullet. So eating smaller meals, well-balanced meals, get your protein in, lots of hydration. Think maybe 3 meals a day, and make sure those snacks are also, you always have a protein in them too. Making sure you're snacking smartly. Sometimes it's easy just to pop something quick in your mouth, but we always wanna make sure that we're having good options on hand are gonna help prevent us straying from our diet and eating something that we're gonna regret. So hard-boiled eggs, an apple, a little bit of almond butter, right? A little bit of natural butters. A little bit of Greek yogurt is a great way to get all your protein in, feel satiated, and not overdo anything that's gonna upset your tummy. So down to the diet. Something super simple you can do is something like scrambled eggs, maybe a couple diced up onions, some spinach in that, along with a side of fresh fruit, especially berries. That's a super simple breakfast, high in protein, you've got some fiber, and you have a little bit of sweetness from the berries as well. A lunch could look like a large salad, grilled chicken breast, mix of vegetables in there. I always tell my clients, a big salad, variety of vegetables, a spring mix, chop up some peppers, something to kind of mix it up, different textures, a nice vinegar-based dressing. And then maybe on the side for a little bit of carbs, you put some chickpeas, and I don't know, maybe a little bit of side of quinoa for a little extra protein, a little extra fiber. Snacks, like I said, can look like Greek yogurt or almond butter, maybe a little bit of, I just have like a mixed chia and flaxseed concoction here. Sprinkle that in there and you've got your fiber, your healthy fats, protein, good to go. And dinner can look like a nice piece of baked salmon, some broccoli on the side, and maybe a little bit of sweet potato. So you get your potato in the end. In summary, make sure you're always discussing these types of decisions with a licensed physician, someone that you trust. Be sure that you are pairing your GLP-1s with a diet that is rich in lean proteins, that's high in fiber, low glycemic fruits, no more fruit juices, and of course, healthy fats. Making sure that you are staying hydrated, eating smaller meals throughout the day, avoiding fatty, greasy foods, and making sure that your snacks always contain a protein. So this approach that I just kind of laid out for you, along with a curated workout regularly in the gym, getting your cardio, getting your weightlifting, this is gonna give you the best results for balancing your blood sugar, weight management, and overall well-being. Thanks so much for listening. Hopefully this wasn't too much information. If you need a little bit more, please don't hesitate, put it down in the comments below. You can direct message me as well, and I will be happy to point you in some directions of ideas for workouts, nutrition, optimizing, science, and feeling your best. Thanks, y'all.